All right, everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons. We thank God for all those of you who have tuned in to join us today. Especially want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching on the replay. Appreciate you so much because that means you took time out of your valuable schedule to watch us after the fact, even though you missed us live. We appreciate you for doing that. And of course, if you are on social media and on YouTube for the first time, you know what to do. Subscribe, and subscribe. Hit the little magic bell, and it'll give you notifications on when we are going to be on the air next. So please, ma'am, please, so if you haven't done already, subscribe to the Real Talk Sports Show. As you know, I tell you every week, we are pressing towards to try to get that phenomenal 1,000 subscribers. But we're going to get there, thanks to you. We appreciate all those of you, again, who tune in to watch us each and every week. We're very, very appreciative to you. And we want to say thank you, and thank you. Well, as always, we come into another week of sports headlines that happened over the weekend. It was NBA playoffs going on. We had some sad news coming out of the world of the NBA as well. We also had the big time races, Coca-Cola 600 and the Indianapolis 500, all going on this weekend. So yeah, lots of stuff was happening, and we know, like I say again, you guys are also coming off of the holiday weekend. So many of you who normally join us may not be joining us right now, but that's okay. We appreciate those of you who are here in the building with us. Well, let's get to the unfortunate, sad news that we have first. I got to make a joke here before we get into the real sad news. For real, for real. I realize that you must put your glasses on whenever you are typing information, because I realize now that initially my name said John Shizim Dimmond. So so we had to get that fixed. It's Jonathan Simmons, that's me. And so you appreciate you guys for, again, following me on social media. This time I did something a little different. I have my actual personal social media up. That's Minister J Sim. For those of you who think I'm not a real minister, I actually am, for real, for real. I actually am a licensed minister, have been for over 30 years. Unbelievable. Time has kind of gotten away from me here. But nevertheless, I see you can follow me on social media. I do repost a lot of my sports stuff, but also put some inspirational things on there as well. And I think all of us need a little inspiration with all the crazy stuff and negativity that's going on in this world. I try to give you some scriptures that hopefully will encourage you, and hopefully a good word that will keep you moving as well. So again, follow me on social media at Minister JSim. But of course, you know what to do also. Follow the show. Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You see that on the screen as well. Follow us right there. And for those of you just listening to the podcast, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. So it's real, like, for real. Talk and sports with an S on the end and the number 7. So, follow us there. Well, like I said, again, some sad news from out of the NBA. A guy who was a living legend, one of the greatest centers in NBA basketball history, passed away over the holiday weekend. Bill Walton yesterday passed away at the age of 71 after battling cancer. Bill Walton was a legendary player who really, the main crux of his career was cut off due to injury. Had he not had so many problems with his feet and being injured. I think that, he would have been up there in the echelon of great centers of all time, which he is now. But we would have been talking about him probably in the top, possibly top three centers. No disrespect to Shaq or to Kareem or Wilt, but certainly had Bill Walton, I believe, not gotten injured, he would have been right up there with them. And who knows where he would have fallen, because there's no question in my mind, had he not been injured, the Portland Trailblazers, the team that he was on with Maurice Lucas and John Hollins and some of the other great players they had on that team, they had just won a championship, knocking off the Sixers with Dr. J, still kind of in his prime. Knocked them off after going down 2 games to none, came back and won 4 straight. And then the next year, they had the best overall record in the league. And then Walton began to be plagued with injuries, and his career really was never the same after that. He did win another chip with the Celtics late in his career, but he was not the same player then, obviously, by that time being much older and coming off the injuries as he was when he was a dominant center in those first 2 or 3 years in the NBA. So certainly our condolences to the family and friends and coworkers, because a lot of you guys who are kind of newbies, you just remember Bill Walton from being the funny dude that was known for smoking a little weed, acting crazy on air, phenomenal announcer. Sometimes said things out the pale, and most of you younger guys remember him from that. But be not mistaken, this guy was a dominant center, and again led his team to an NBA championship, knocking off the Philadelphia 76ers, who themselves were loaded with a team that had future NBA Hall of Famers, including Julius Erving, Dr. J, who was on that team and was spectacular in that series, but was not able to get his Sixers past the um, Portland Trailblazers. And you look at his stats, look at Bill Walton's stats. You say, come on, man, for real, how can this guy be a Hall of Famer and such a legend? We'll look at his stats right now. His overall stats for his career: 13.3 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists. And you say, man, how can that be? But we're going to take a look at his early years before he really got injured. In his first 4 years, he was an NBA All-Star 2 of the first 4 years. And as I mentioned, in 76 and 77, the he led them. Led them. I'm sorry. He led the Portland Trailblazers to the NBA title over Julius Erving and the 76ers. And then at age, he won the MVP award in 77 and 78, which was the year after that they, in fact, knocked off the Sixers and were headed to another title. But unfortunately, like I said, more injuries, and they just weren't able to pull it off in the postseason. If you look at his prime years, that was his first 4 years in the league from 1974 to 1978. You can see why this guy was definitely a man that was considered to be one of the dominant players. He was a voracious rebounder, a block shot machine. In their championship years, he was a dominant player, finished second in the MVP ballotings. He was also second in the, no, excuse me, also was the defensive player of the year and was an all-star that year. Let's look at his stats. He averaged for that year 18.6 points a game, 14.4 rebounds a game, which led the league. Also had a staggering 3.2 blocks per game, which also led the league as well. And then next year, when he actually won the MVP, 18.9 a game, 13.2 rebounds a game, and 2.5 block shots per game. And then unfortunately was injured at age 26, did not play for the whole season. And by the time he came back, like I said, really was never the same player again. He did, in fact, win a championship with the great Celtics team back in 85, 86. He was the sixth man of the year. At that year, he averaged 7.6 points a game, but he was just a pesky guy at age 33 and helping stabilize the Celtics and allowing them to win another championship ring. So again, Bill Walton, our condolences to his family, friends, both in the booth, also his former colleagues and players at UCLA, and most of all, his remaining family. Bill Walton passed away at the age of 71 from cancer yesterday on May the 27th. So again, our condolences to him and his family. Well, keeping in NBA, well, we're down now to 3. We have the Boston Celtics have now gotten their way into the NBA Finals, second time in 3 years. They're back in business. Celtics have looked dominant really most of the year. The ironic thing is, one of the few teams that played them well uh, didn't even make it into the first round of playoffs. I'm talking about our Atlanta Hawks. If you remember, right near the end of the season, the Hawks had a week where they played the Celtics twice. And in game one, they came back from an unbelievable 30-point deficit to pull off a win. And then they also pulled off a stunning win in overtime over the Celtics in game number two, when the Celtics came out breathing fire. So it's just ironic that this great Celtics team struggles from time to time playing the Atlanta Hawks, which seem to be struggling to find their way. But nevertheless, the Celtics are in. Now, the question is, who will they play next? We're going to find out. We might find out tonight. Who do you guys think they're going to play next? Do you think it's going to be the Mavericks, who have a 3-0 lead? And of course, those of you know who follow sports, no team, I'm going to say it again, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in an NBA playoff. That's not happened. Now, we know what happened in baseball a few years back. Red Sox came down from 3-0 against the Yankees, but it ain't never happened one time in the NBA. So most likely we will see Dallas and Boston. The Timberwolves really have looked outmatched. I mean, they really have. I mean, they have not been the same team we saw, certainly against Denver. They look to be outgunned and outmatched against the against the Mavericks. Kyrie, I don't know why they said anything to him, but he is, he's been tearing them up. All right, let's go to social media. Oh, shucky ducky. He's back. That's our man, Sullivan, our good buddy up there that has the, matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys a little clip of this. One of the best burgers around as we get ready to turn the corner here. I'm going to show you this here from his restaurant. Get you guys a little clip of what Sully does. He's got a restaurant out in Alpharetta, and they also have one in Johns Creek, which is the one we went to. And man, the food is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see if we can get a little shot of what you'll get when you go out to Sully's establishment. Let's take it. It's called, I think it's Village Burger. Do I have that right? I think so. I think I have it right. Anyway, let's go take a look at the great food that Sully serves at his restaurant. Again, they have a couple of them up in the north side. I think they have a total of 4. They have one at Johns Creek. They have one at Alpharetta. I believe they have even one in Cumming. But we went to the one at Johns Creek, and Sully's going to get me corrected there. There it is. Pastor Jay Slice. That's me. But not in the green. Remember that, guys. Anyway, let's go take a look here at Sully's restaurant and the great food that he serves up there. We're going to take a pic. I got a clip when me and the Queen, Tree Dolman, who comes on our show, we went up there and had a wonderful Saturday lunch. And let's take a look at the wonderful burgers that he had when we went up there. Let's take a look. Okay, guys, as you can see, Sully told the truth as advertised. This is the turkey burger and fries. And the Queen has, what do you have?
Chicken. I have a wonderful chicken sandwich with cheese, lemonade, no ice, and fries.
Good stuff. And there's mine, and we're about to chow down. And did that look good or what? That turkey burger was just awesome. Now, here's the cool thing. All the stuff is handmade, fresh. You don't get that stuff that's been under like a microwave heater and that kind of stuff. Just everything was fantastic. Matter of fact, Tree's sandwich was so big that the chicken stuck out of a really big size bun. So if you really want to get yourself a good spot to eat, especially if you're on the north side, check them out in Johns Creek. Also check them out in Alpharetta. And I'm pretty sure the name of the restaurant is Village Burger. I hope that's right. Sully, if I'm not right, please pop it up on the screen on social media so I can see it and make that correction. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here for absolutely more of the best sports talk around the city of Atlanta and beyond. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm Aria, the first AI presenter for RAL Talk Sports. We want to get your feedback about my participation in the show, so please leave comments. So stay tuned, the Real Talk Sports Show is coming up.
All right, we're back here. We're going to be doing more experimenting with AI. For those of you who, like me, always like to get fascinated with technology, what do you guys think about this Chat GBT? I mean, is that thing cool or what? I mean, you can make videos, you can make these awesome pictures, and I don't want to take anything away from those of you who are, what do you call them? Designers. Don't want to take any graphic designers. Don't want to take anything away from you at all. I know you guys are looking at this thing, as we all are. It's very scary. I get you, but use AI to give you a hand. It's certainly great, some great stuff. And what I'm seeing is I've watched several things on YouTube over the weekend. What I'm really seeing is that AI, if done properly, actually can assist you in your job of being a graphic designer, or like I do some video production, radio production. It's just awesome. Basically, put the script in and you tell it kind of what you want to try to do. And man, it's crazy. It just like does it. So that's it. And like you said, that was like an early version. I just kind of slapped them together on Canva. So I'm looking forward to bringing out something really cool. Hopefully next month, some really great AI stuff that hopefully you guys will enjoy. And hopefully it will be part of what we do here on the Real Talk Sports Show. All right. You know how it is, guys. Anytime we talk sports, we like to bring on one of those beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply know her as the Queen. Tree Dolman is back in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hey, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
Oh, did you just turn some? I heard a little. Did you move your
Yeah,
mic?
I slid because I put my laptop on his chair and I was sliding it closer, and you really thought it was something else, Jonathan? Like, come on.
No. I didn't.
You know I'm a lady.
I didn't even go there. It just was a noise. No. We moved away from them jokes back like 30, 40 years ago. When I was now, if I was younger, yeah, we might have went right there. But yeah, I wasn't thinking. This is kind of an odd noise. That's all. Right.
Yeah, sorry, it's my chair. I'm trying
There we go.
I was trying to move it closer, and so it slid. Sullivan, listen, Sully. Okay, Sully, I have been to Village Burger in Alpharetta twice, and every time I've been there, you haven't been there. But I've been loving the Caesar, the grilled chicken Caesar. So good.
Yeah, it's funny. Before you came on, I just gave him like a shameless plug. I showed the sandwiches we had when we went out there that Saturday. Yeah, it was off the chain. I mean, the food was excellent. So again, if you guys in the area, Alpharetta,
I've been back. When I tell you guys, I'm not just telling you guys this. Like, I really love the food. I have been back. Yes, it is so good.
Yep. So he said, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, his food was it was epic. Yeah, it was great food. I enjoyed every bit of it. Like I said, again, I got to get back up there. It's a little bit farther from me, but that's okay. We'll find a reason to get back up there and get out there and eat really what was some great food. And like I explained to everybody, it was fresh. None of that stuff where you're getting something warmed up in a microwave. Everything was prepared fresh on the spot. Now that means you can't come in there, right, and expect to get your food in 2 minutes. So if you're hungry, you better get some peanuts or something, snack a little bit.
But it still wasn't. It did take a long time. Like the food.
It surely didn't. No, it wasn't. It really was not. Everything was just, the service was off the chain. Everything was just top notch. So again, Sully, kudos to you and the crew and your family, because it's a family-owned business. So big shout out to him and what they do up there.
So good, so good. I'm telling you, I love it. I'm probably going there tomorrow again. Like I'm always.
What?
So, 2 thumbs up. If I had more thumbs, I would give him more thumbs up.
What? Sully, you got like some. That means now, Sully, you owe the Queen now a promotional meal, because she's now went there and no, come on, you know, okay. we all work together here. We all work together.
Let's okay.
Give me some free promos there, right there.
The food is amazing, and everybody's so friendly too. Oh, congratulations!
All right,
His
congratulations
daughter
is right.
graduated. That is
Congrats,
awesome.
brother. Yeah, that's big stuff. Yeah, anytime your kids, grandkids, anybody, okay, we'll say he says there.
He doesn't work
Okay, he doesn't.
Wednesdays or Sundays, but he's there every other day.
Okay, so we know what day to go. No Wednesdays, no Sundays. Okay, so that means we have to make another Saturday trek.
Well, you
up to
know,
the
I
spot.
do always go Sunday.
Okay,
You know, you get out of church, you're hungry, you want some food.
you're hungry,
Yeah.
want to get your eat on.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we appreciate it. But yeah, one Saturday we gotta get up there and check them out. All right, so now, you know, I think the people live in a vacuum today. I think they really have no sense of history. And the reason why I say that is, and I understand the excitement of the way these guys have been playing, but this is the statement that has been running around social media and television. People are saying that Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are the best backcourt in NBA history.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
In NBA history, not this decade, not the 2000s, in NBA history.
I have
All right,
definitely heard
that. Folks, my question is, what do you think about that? I mean, the best ever? That's a big statement. What are your thoughts, Tree?
I think it's completely wrong. I mean, I think that they're playing great together. I'm very happy for them, but the best in history, no, they're not.
Yeah, I think that you got a lot of guys that have teamed up together over the years, going all the way back to the 60s. And I think that when you start talking about, especially the NBA has been around for a long time. When you start just throwing out there that, hey, they're the greatest of all, yeah, just I mean, really.
He couldn't even finish saying it.
Right. I mean, look, Magic Johnson by himself almost might be the greatest backcourt in NBA history, just by his own self.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, we're kind of overdoing it, guys. I mean, and even Kyrie, when they mentioned it to him, because I was just watching the press conference from after Game 3, he just kind of chuckled and said, "Hey, man, I mean," he said, "I appreciate the kudos." He said, "I have great respect for all the guys that went on before us," and he said that kind of thing we don't think about until we've done some more stuff, and in fact, our careers are over. Yes. Sully says, "No."
Yes. Kobe. I don't care what anybody says. Kobe, by far, in my opinion, top 2 best basketball player ever. That's just my opinion.
And Sully says, you forgot about this guy, MJ. And again, MJ with anybody in the backcourt.
He's my number 1, Sullivan. So my top 2, MJ, Kobe. No, notice I did not say LeBron James, people. I did not.
She said no LeBron for me.
Yeah, to me, number 1, MJ, number 2, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you talk about the backcourt. And then Sully said, how about Larry Bird? Another guy that's up there, one of the all-time greats. I mean, you got a lot of people talking about. Of course, Larry did not play in the backcourt, so that really doesn't quite count. But I mean, if you go all the way back, in the 60s, you look at, Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. I mean, those guys, you go look at their stats, man, those guys were just machines. You go back to the great Celtics backcourts. Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas.
And Joe Dumars, come on. I mean, what better 1-2 punch did you have than that in the backcourt? So, I mean, just all I can say is, people, do your history. I mean, I'm excited that you're excited, but you got to, kind of bring it back there. Now, I'm asking you a question, Tree, for especially and also to Hawks fans out there that are watching this. Okay, seeing how it took a couple of years for Luka and Kyrie to mesh. Remember last year people were saying, why did they trade for this guy? He was sorry. Do you think that maybe Atlanta should slow its roll about trying to get rid of DeJounte and say, hey, maybe if we give these guys a little bit more time, they could develop into a great backcourt?
No. I mean, I'm don't get me wrong, I like DeJounte. I think he's been a great addition to the team, but the reason I say that for the Atlanta Hawks is just because they've tried so many things. And when you're on a team and you just keep getting this close, and it's not happening, you have to make some kind of drastic change that's going to help get you over the hump so that you're no longer this close, you're making it. You see what I'm saying? So the Hawks, they had the roster for whatever reason. It wasn't working out. Then they got rid of John Collins. Then they brought in other people. They thought that was going to fix it. That didn't fix it. So they're still right there, just right there. And they just need something to get them over the hump. So at this point, I do think that they need to make some major changes, which we know will not be the coach. They're happy with the coach that they brought in. They want to keep him here. So if it's not going to be the coach, then it's going to have to be some of the players, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think that sometimes Atlanta fans get a little delusional. I mean, really do. I mean, we have a good team and we do well. And if we don't win the championship within 2 years, I pull the team up. They're no good. I'm like, hey, man, I mean, championships are hard to win. I mean, they're very hard to win.
Very hard to win. Most people play professional sports and never win a championship. They're hard to win.
And it's also hard to be a consistent winner. You know, a lot of teams cannot consistently get to the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. Have the Hawks went backwards from where they were in 21-22? No doubt. There's no doubt about it. And to some degree, it was really probably one of the worst things that could happen to the Hawks, because if they had inverted this, in other words, if they had went to the play-in, then got to the first round, won the first round, and then like this year now talking about the NBA, Eastern Conference Final, yeah. But see, once they jumped out of there and shocked everybody.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
You forget that we're in Atlanta, okay? So most places with fans that just stick with them through thick and thin, right? But unfortunately, which I will never get it. Here in Atlanta, the fans are just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, when they're winning, we'll cheer. When they're not winning, it's just, I mean, people, we have a good team. And the fact that they're even making it to the play-in tournament or playoffs, I mean, we know my Detroit Pistons are nowhere close on the list. So I have to live vicariously through you guys, because my Pistons have set a record of being the team that had the most consecutive losses in the NBA. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why sometimes I think we're kind of delusional.
But I still love my Pistons, right? You guys know I'm a proud Detroit Piston fan. I love them win or lose. But I think just a lot of fans are delusional in the sense of they want their team to win every single year. And that's just not possible. Like, you do see where teams have great runs, like the Lakers, the Warriors, but then things happen. So I'm just hoping that great run will come for Atlanta. I'm hoping that they'll make some changes. Sullivan said we need more. Well, Sullivan, I'm hoping that they will make some changes and get that more that will take them over the hump, because I want to see the Hawks doing very well. I really do. I want to see them succeed. I've been rooting for the Hawks. I believe in the Hawks, and I just want them to put together a team, put together a roster that will get them over that hump into the playoffs very high. And who knows, maybe we even win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. I've seen it up close and personal twice. We saw that Hawks team when they had Kyle Korver, when they had Jeff Teague, when they had Al Horford, all those guys. That team was a phenomenal team. Matter of fact, they still hold the record of most wins without a loss in a month. In the month of January that year, not the Bulls, not the Lakers, not the Warriors. The Atlanta Hawks went 19-0 in the January that year.
That's
impressive. They won 60 games.
I
1/3 of
remember
their
that
games they
team.
won.
I remember that team. I used to go to some of the games. Very, very nice team. Sullivan said, if we're going to do that, we need at least 3 more players to add, one to help out Trae Young. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, if the team is just imbalanced. I mean, you need more scoring. If you think of that run they had during the playoffs that year, they were getting scoring from pretty much from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting from Bogey. They were getting it from what was the Italian guy? I can't think of his name right now, but they were getting scored from everywhere. And it seemed like every time you turn around, somebody from the Hawks did something great. Like Kevin Huerter had that 21-point game. He hit like 4 threes. John Collins, the big ginormous dunk, in the sixth, even made a T-shirt out of it. These are the kind of things that we saw. The big 3-pointer in one of those games to send to get the Hawks into a tie so they could win late. I mean, it seemed like every time you turn around, another Hawks player was stepping up to the plate, and that's really what we haven't seen anymore. And I think it's like Trey said, as much as nobody likes to hear. I don't say the player make excuses, but like, hey man, we've had like 3-4 coaches. They have each coach comes in with a different scheme, a different way to play. You've mixed up all kind of players in here. You bring another guy, and like I said again, I think that if they had the other ingredients, you could keep the backcourt. But you bring another guy in whose game, as far as handling the ball, somewhat similar to yours. I mean, so it's just like this management doesn't seem to know how to put together his roster. And to me, one of the biggest mistakes they made was getting rid of Travis Schlenk. I know he's in a advisory position, but they should have left him alone. I mean, he helped
getting rid of John Collins, but that's just my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's funny you should talk about that. So everybody likes to talk about, again, being delusional because, he's not consistent in the playoffs and he disappears. Okay, well, here's the thing. He was consistent in this much. You knew from John Collins, if you stretch out over average of a series or over average of a season, he was going to give you somewhere between 14 to 16 points. He's going to give you somewhere between 7 to 9 rebounds and probably a block a game and play some at least halfway decent defense against the other power forward he's playing against. You knew you were going to get that.
Not to mention, he brought a lot of energy to the team.
Right.
I mean, it was just like I always tell people, and any athlete knows this, and maybe some people who follow sports that really pay attention may also know that everything does not show up on the stat sheet, people. I know this for a fact. You can see stats and you can't just go off of the stats because there's so many things that players do that just don't show up on the stat sheet. And I was so happy one time when I heard the head coach, when Nate was the coach, and he said the same thing, because I have been saying that about John Collins for quite a while. Everything that he does and the asset that he was to the team did not always show up on the stat sheet, but his teammates knew it. His coaches knew it. He played hard. And I just think that was a big mistake of letting him go. They did not get what they wanted from that, in my opinion, but who knows? Maybe they're happy with the decision. I just think it was a bad decision. And he loved being here. He loved playing with the team. They had a brotherhood. And I know that it's a business, so it's not just about that. But if you have someone that's playing hard and maybe they thought he wasn't, I don't know. But anyway, we need a roster assembled with some great players. And also, I think what we definitely need nowadays in the NBA, you have to have your sharpshooters for threes. We need more 3-point shooters that when you are open is pretty much a money shot. That is a big difference that I'm seeing with other teams like the Celtics and what we have. They just have sharpshooters that'll put that 3 down and smack it down in a heartbeat. We just need more sharpshooters like that on the roster as well.
Like we used to have when we had Huerter, when we had Gallinari. All these guys.
Gallinari was good, but we've never had what I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about like
Celtics and the Warriors, where it's just like they're, the Ray Allens, the Steph Currys. That's what I'm talking about. We need some sharp shooters but we also need the big men, right? Because Jonathan, how I feel about the big men. A lot of teams are trying to take that position out of the NBA, or they think that it's not important, but it is important. And even when you look at rebounding and just those putbacks and defense, and Rudy Gobert getting defensive player of the year for the 4th time in his career, height matters, and being able to protect that basket does matter. So you need big men down in the paint, and you also need big men to get those rebounds that will get more points on the board, because they could just put an easy putback for some of the shots. And then with defense, hey, they give you a possession. So we'll see what the Hawks will do. But like I say, I'm very curious to see. But whatever they do, I want to see them win.
The funny thing is that all this about we don't need the big man anymore, it didn't last too long, because once Golden State and the way they did it and the way their team was set up, once they came off the scene, you say everybody's now got a dominant big man. I mean, that's really kind of your key. I mean, so all I can say is this, is that this Hawks team, it's funny, the year they get the #1 overall pick, everybody's saying it's one of the worst NBA drafts in history. So go figure. But this guy Sarr does have the potential. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, only that would happen only in Atlanta, that we'd have a situation like this where all of a sudden
that would happen only to Detroit, where, trust me, it would be worse than that.
We say, hey, Detroit basketball. We say only in Detroit. Well, all I can say is, again,
look at it. San Antonio got the #1 draft pick, right? Then this year, the Hawks are getting the #1 draft pick. It's just like, I don't know. So, but yes.
Yeah. Hopefully they can, like you said, hopefully they can do something to kind of turn the way things look here with this team. So like I said, I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is that they need to find a way to improve this team. They have a #1 overall pick, and let's just say even if it's, let's say, that one of the worst drafts, you still should be able to do something serviceable with this guy. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, how bad can they be? I mean, seriously. So I'm looking forward to the Hawks being able to make it do what it do. I'm looking forward for whoever they pick to be an asset to the team. And I'm just thinking that somehow, some way, they'll be able to get what they need, especially in terms of some height in the paint. Because, and the other thing too is, let's face it, you're going to have guys coming back. I mean, Okongwu should be back up to snuff. He should be doing fairly well. I don't know if you're going to keep Clint or not. A lot of people are saying you should get rid of him. I'm thinking to myself the same thing. Okay, this is the thing that's so crazy about people. I was even talking about trade this guy, trade that guy. I'm thinking, okay, now what are you going to get back from him? What are you going to get back for a guy that, I mean, it's like people don't pay any attention to stats. Just like, for example, everybody was hollering and screaming about Al Horford. Now, did he want a lot of money? He did. But I mean, everybody, I'll get rid of Al Horford. Okay, so since the Hawks have let him go, he's played another 9 years. Another 9 years in the NBA.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, I was going to say it. And not to mention, I mean, he's kicking tail too. Like, he's shooting the threes. He's scoring. He's playing defense. Like, I watch him play and I'm like, dog, he used to be a Hawk. Too bad he's not a Hawk now, because he's sure enough a great asset for the Boston Celtics. I mean, unbelievable.
I mean, his tenure with the Celtics, I mean, yeah, is he scoring like he used to score at the Hawks? Of course not. I mean, because he's not asked to do that. But on a team that has 2 perennial MVP candidates, except for the last 2 years, he's been consistently in double figures. Oh, by the way, let's take a look at him in the playoffs. Once he's gotten into the playoffs, he has stepped his game up. Let's take a look at some of the games against the Cavaliers. 22 points against the Cavs in the closeout game. 15 points against the Pacers to open up that game. 23 points against the Pacers in game 3, a game the Pacers were desperately trying to win. And oh, by the way, you talk about 3-pointers, 7 of 12 from 3, along with 5 rebounds. Yeah. So this is a guy who changed his game. This is a guy who learned how to shoot from the outside, a guy who said, listen, I have to do things a little bit differently if I want to stay in the league. And he's done it. And he's a pest on defense.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you can't just look at, the guy didn't score a lot. Like you said, there's a lot more to it than just scoring. Does he help on defense? Is he a good rebounder?
Defense is key. I think that's
Right.
what most people forget about. Most people look at, well, how much are you scoring? How many points are you scoring? Defense is what matters. I'll tell a lot of people that may not know. In the NBA, a lot of times, a lot of the coaches, you can be the best scorer on the team, but if you're not playing defense, they'll tell you you're going to sit on the bench. You have to play defense in order to get on the court. Defense is what matters. You can't just worry about going down the court, scoring baskets. You have to play defense because you score, they score, you score, theirs. I mean, what? No, you have to have stops. And we all know that getting very important stops and key stops in the NBA is what makes a big difference. And you have to play defense. Defense wins championships. There's a reason I say it all the time. There's a reason that it's true and that it's said all the time is because defense does win championships. So I think more people need to focus on defense than offense.
Listen, it's born true in this playoffs. Why have the Mavs been winning? Because their defense has improved dramatically. Yeah. They've made stops when they absolutely had to have the stops. Well, how did Minnesota, the team they're playing now, how did they make their run? Because they were what? The number one defense in the NBA. They know how to shut you down. Think about this. They held the defending NBA champions to 70 points in the playoffs. 70 points. They beat them out. They beat them 115-70. So no question. Let's go back to social media here. Our man Todd, he jumped in it. Go ahead.
Preacher Tree, you do know y'all talking about ownership. All right. Preacher Tree, you do know y'all talking about an ownership that would have traded Larry Bird in 86. Oh, wait. They did trade Larry Bird. They traded Mr. Luka. Yes, Todd. That's true, though. He's so right. Wow. He's so right. We do trade the good players.
Yep. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, here's the thing that's funny about this whole Trae and Luka thing. Okay, so everybody was okay when Trae was balling out and Luka was at the house. Everybody's thinking because we all thought that Trae was going to get to the next level as Luka had. This is what we thought. But unfortunately, unlike Luka, Trae has went backwards. So that's why this trade looks even crazier because they've gone backwards. Because remember, they got to the conference finals first. They did it before Dallas. But ever since then, they have slid down the tank. And meanwhile, Dallas has been balling out. Now, of course, the other thing, too, is that Dallas did happen to add a guy who's going to be a future Hall of Famer, some guy named Kyrie Irving. So they did add him. And Hawks have not added anybody like that to their roster. So I'm just saying.
No, we do need a big superstar here. And Atlanta is a city where you should be able to bring in a superstar. We have a great market. We have a lot of things going for us. We just, like I say, we need a major change in the roster, but we can't let our great players go, i.e. John Collins. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But we do need to bring in some mega talent. And why would you want to get rid of one of the best rebounders in the NBA? I mean, I don't get it with a lot of people. Oh, he didn't do this. You should let him go. You should let him go. You should get rid of him. You should get. Oh my goodness. You have to give people time. Everybody may not have the best year every year. These athletes are human. You never know. Sometimes they may be going through personal things in their lives that could affect what they're doing on the court and different things of that nature. You just never know what's going on with people. But as long as they're working hard and they're an asset for the team and making a big difference, I think that they should be able to stay for the most part. But, the ownership, they have to put together the right pieces of the puzzle. And they haven't figured that out yet.
They sure have not, but hopefully they will figure it out before I get much older or grayer than I am right now. So that's what we're hoping for. All right, guys, you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, watching the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back with more great sports talk in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We will be, in fact, right back. Thank you, and thank you.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson.
me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports.
Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is Patrick Willis, and this is Real Talk Sports.
Hey guys, we're here at the T20 tournament. It's the women's cricket. No, not crickets like you hear when you're in the weeds. I'm talking about the sport cricket, one of the most popular sports in the world. And I have the captain from a team. She's going to introduce herself to you right now.
Hi, my name is Eileen Major. I'm from Belize, and we are so excited to be here. I'm the captain of our team, Belize Royal Striker, and we come to take the goal. I'm hopeful that we could take it, but it's all about the fun. If we're not, then, we will try again and we'll come back.
Yeah, so Tree, I actually did something I've been trying to do for about the last 4 years. I went out and covered cricket. There's a young lady by the name of Petal Samuels, or Petal Samuels, I should say. She is the producer of a women's tournament. It's called the T20. And I was stunned to get out there, and they had teams literally from all over the world. They had the team from Belize, they had a team from Bermuda, they had a team from the Caribbean, and of course, multiple teams from Metro Atlanta, women of all ages. They even had some young ladies that I think were only 13 years old playing. So pretty cool to go out there. Yeah, really pretty cool. Yeah. And evidently cricket is growing. A lot of people don't know cricket. Best way I can describe it, kind of like our baseball. And the fans around the country in these various countries are the same way. They go bananas over cricket. You got, by any chance, you have an update for me on the score? Are you watching the game by any chance? No.
Oh, it's on a commercial. Sorry, I just got to tell Sparkle to move.
All right, let me see if we got a score update here. Let's take a peek here. Mavs versus T-Wolves. And survey says, well, we're early in the first quarter, and so far, we're all tied up 10-10. Again, for those of you who have not been living in a cave, you know that the Timberwolves are on life support.
He said, I've been living in a cave.
Right, they're down 3-0. And as you know, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs. So, no team. Looks bad. Well, speaking of looking bad, Tree, I really try to not be like the old man in the barbershop. I remember I was a kid, like the old man in the barbershop, they seem to be like everything was better in their day, and they were mad about everything like we did. Like everything was no good, terrible. They were grumpy. I was like, man, hope I don't grow up to be that. I got to tell you. This whole thing with the NILs and the collectives, and now the talk of private equity firms getting involved and investing in the collectives, I'm about through. Yeah, this is just insanity.
You think?
Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, you already have, private equity firms, like they're like this giant spider. They're everywhere now. They're all over professional sports. And I just think that it's okay for the pros. I just don't like it for college. Not private equity firms, because remember, what is a private equity firm? What is their goal? Is to make money. It's not for the sport. It's not to help better the athletes. It's all about making money.
Yeah.
I think it's about making money when win or loss.
Profit business is in business to do.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I just think that it's. I have no problem with the pros, and I understand that people say, "Dude, they've been paying guys under the table for you." I get all that stuff, but to me, it's kind of like, hey, it's we've opened up the Pandora's box, and like we got a lot of stuff that I think down the road we're gonna say, you know what, we should kind of put the brakes on this. Yeah, I think the private equity thing and the collective. The other thing too is, I want to just review the terminology NIL. And what's making me think about this is that I actually got a document, which was an NIL authorization document to myself. And you say,
Your
pray tell,
name,
Simmons, why'd you
image,
get
and
that?
likeness.
Right. Because I will happy to announce that Ford had a contest for dealerships around the country to send in videos of their customers who had purchased e-powered or fully electric powered transit van. They say, hey, we got a contest, and the top 20 people in the country will get a prize. Well, I'm happy to report that the minister is number 10 in the hit parade, and I will be getting a prize.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, a nice check, something I needed. But in order for me to get the check, they sent me some documents. And one of the documents right across the top, it said authorization for use of name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
And I said, well, there's something wrong here because they're saying, hey, we need you to authorize us to use your name, your image, and or your likeness, and you'll get a check. They didn't say, hey, good news, we're going to send you a check.
Well, of course not. Because
Right.
then if they do that, then you can come back later. And so that's why they do that, to cover their tracks.
Right. So my thought is that originally, and I don't know if you were on the show when Malcolm had mentioned this, but Malcolm Mackey had mentioned to me, he's a preacher, you guys don't understand, you've not played. He said, when I put in the 91 team for Georgia Tech that went to the Final Four, and he's actually still got the cover, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated dunking on someone, and you actually could see his sneakers clearly. He said, I went into Champs the next week, and those sneakers were right there in the team colors. Jersey was there. And he said, I got total love, Ugats. He said, now back then, man, he said, my later future wife, he said, dude, I could barely take her to the movies.
Yeah.
I got nothing. So for me, my thought was name, image, and likeness. No, you can sign autographs all you want. You're going to get a percentage of jersey sales. If you have a local car dealer that says, hey, look, we're going to give you a car to use, but you got to come out to the dealership and just, that to me is name, image, and likeness. Having a player come on and say, oh, by the way, I just got a check from the collective. I'm going to buy my mom a home. That's not name, image, and likeness. That's pay for play. And that to me is kind of moving away from the construct of what the NIL was talking about. And you're setting a precedent where I know it's about money, but it has to be done differently. It can't just, because like I said, then you're just playing pros. It's a professional.
Yeah, well, it's no longer amateur sports in college anymore. It is pros now. Even the schools are going to pay the players, and I'm sure you've heard that they're even going to go back 10 years to play former players, which I wish they would go back longer, because then maybe I'd get a check. But honestly, it's long overdue. I've always said, even when I was in college, that the athletes should get paid. These universities have been making multi-millions and millions and millions of dollars off of the athletes. And yes, we got free educations, most of us who were on full athletic scholarships, which was wonderful. But at the same token, a lot of people didn't realize athletes could not work. So, which, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have worked anyway in college, because I was always in practice or study hard or weight training or, doing so many things. So you really can't work. And then there was actually a rule where you couldn't work. So you can only work in the summertime or different things like that. Because I know some of the athletes would get jobs in the summer. Again, I didn't. I was not working. My job, my father told me my job was to go to school and get good grades. So that was my job. But I do always think that the players should have gotten paid, and especially you get the jersey sales and things of that nature, but just filling the seats, they come to see the players. That's who they come to see. And so I'm very happy that the players are finally getting paid. I do think they should have put a little more thought into the NIL deals before they release them to the world, because now you're seeing where I saw where this one player, he was signed, I don't remember with what university, and he's suing the the coach because he was promised this really lucrative NIL deal and they didn't come through with it. And now you're seeing just so many other things. But I was happy to see, I can't remember which basketball team it was, but the whole basketball team got a free car. So things like that make me happy, and it just made me smile. It was like, oh, great. You know, they're doing what they should. I don't think college athletes should be broke. I think they should be able to get cars. I think they should be able to go shopping if they want to, or, you know, just all of those things. So I'm happy because, like I said, a lot of people don't realize when you're playing Division I sports, you live in that weight room, on that field, in the gym. It really is your life. You're doing that in class, and then of course social life as well. But it's what you do. So I'm happy about it. But like you said, it's just, it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And now it's just out of control.
That's right.
It is out of
That's
control.
kind of my point. Yeah, I got no problem with guys getting paid. I got no problem with the plan they're talking about now, giving revenue sharing for, jersey sales, sneaker sales, even revenue sharing off of fandom, and even some degree revenue sharing off of TV contracts that these conferences are doing. I got no problem with that. My problem is, and I don't like the idea of private equity firms, because a private equity firm, I understand the colleges are trying to make money, but the private equity firms, them like the Wolf of Wall Street guys. Okay, they're not there to play nice in the sandbox. They could give a flip about whether your team is doing well or player X is doing well. They are there to extract money, and that's it. So that's why I have the problem. I don't think you should allow private equity firms to get it all involved with college, because I know it's not amateur, but there's still some dividing line between a university and professional sports team. That's my problem. I just think they're mishandling this. And see, this is the thing that just burns me about the NCAA. When you really need them now, they're now a toothless dragon because they were such dummies and such heavy-handed for all these years. Now they have no power to really. This is when you need the NCAA to step in. Hey, look, we can't have this. It's like out of control. These are the rules. These are the regulation. Now they're saying we got to go to Congress. It's stupid that the U.S. government has to get involved with a sport like this. It's just dumb. I mean, that's why you have a governing body. But because the governing body, we're a bunch of ego maniacs
Somebody
and jerks.
doesn't like the NCAA.
No, I don't. I don't know. And not just me, because I've seen them up close and personal. I'm sure initially they had good intent, but they became bullies. Even the way they handed out some of their penalties that, really wrecked guys' careers. It was like too much. You go on these witch hunts. So now when you need them to legitimately investigate, legitimately say, look, we have to have some guidelines and boundaries, they can't do it because they've all been blown up now. But that's a whole nother story, a whole nother day. But yeah, I am in my feelings about this. I just don't like the idea of private equity. Because I've seen what they do. I mean, they're all about the money, and they really do not care. I mean, and we've seen, look, even ESPN, the way they schedule games, it's all about money. Nobody cares. And I think at some point you have to kind of I know a lot of money is being made, but you have to find a way to distribute it and still kind of keep the integrity of the sport. And I think you're running real close to that not happening. I'm just saying.
Distribute it? I disagree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you want to be able to see different teams, but that's why you have the ESPN Plus and other places like that. But when it comes to televised games and games on network, they're going to put the top games and the most watched games because that's what people want to see.
No. You misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, the way sometimes they do the scheduling, it makes it very difficult for your fan base. For example, to me, most of your West Coast games should be played a little bit later in the day. And I understand you're saying, hey, we got to stay up late. But I mean, it's unfair a lot of time when you put these guys in a position where they got to play a game at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't think they should have any West Coast games scheduled for like 2 or 3 o'clock. Me personally.
How is that unfair that they have to play a game at 9 o'clock in the morning? That is not unfair. Playing a game at 9 o'clock at night, now that's unfair. But playing a game at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Really, I think it's the opposite. I think nighttime games are what people talk about. Prime time, under the lights. I don't think anybody wants to play a game at 9 o'clock in the morning. I think anybody wants to do that. Who wants to get up?
No,
Okay, here we go,
I'm just
boys.
saying, when you're thinking about the actual athletes,
Right.
the athlete does not want to start a game, have a start time at 9 p.m., which means that the game will not be over until 11:30 p.m., which means that when you get done with meetings and all of that, you're not getting back to your room and treatment until 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., and then getting in the bed at 2 a.m. Like, come on. 9
guess I'm not
a.m.
making it-
is not a bad time. A lot of people
Right.
don't realize that these athletes, we practice in the mornings anyway. So that's a normal time of you getting up, getting treated, and playing. So I don't think a 9 a.m. game is bad for any sport. But once you start getting in the late PMs, yes, there are problems, because a lot of people, again, don't take into consideration what time you have to show up before the game and after the game, when you have to sit in that ice bath, or you may have to get stem treatment, or you have to ice after. People just think, oh, the game's over, they just go home. No, it's not that simple. You still have to meet with your team and treat your body and cool down. And there's so many things that happen after the game that people who aren't athletes don't even get. So
And I guess, I don't like to see a West Coast game start that late, because you're right. I mean, it's just crazy. I think East Coast game, no problem, because guys in the West Coast is still 5 o'clock. I think the game should start maybe 8. I just really latest start time to me should be about 7 or 8. Me personally.
yeah,
I'm like, after, right, yeah, PM. That should be about the latest start time. You're right. Shouldn't be starting no games at 9 o'clock.
yeah.
7 probably is the latest, maybe 8, and that's it. That way the whole country can watch the game. Everybody's good. All right, speaking of watching the
Now,
game,
is this college or NFL?
college.
Oh, okay.
The NFL,
Really
you
college.
pro, like you said, ain't that's what you're right. You're getting paid to play the game. It kind of is what it is. I think it's kind of goofy that you got to play out in Europe in them strange times, but hey, the players agree. I mean, that's part of their.
times in Europe are strange. That's what people don't get. It's normal times in Europe. The only difference is the time change between Europe and here. But the
And here,
games
right.
are actually played at decent times in Europe, which is why it airs late or early morning here.
Early here.
Yeah, because the game is decent times. Yeah. They're
Speaking of
like
time,
4, 5. Like it wasn't even late. We were, but yeah.
it's
just
that time.
a difference. Oh,
All right, guys, you know how it is. Every time we have a show, we want to make sure that you know more about our co-host or our guest. So, for the queen, the floor is yours.
hello everyone. It is still May, so it is still Brain Cancer, Brain Tumor Awareness Month. So make sure you go gray in May, and you can follow me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Ms. America International 2022. Bye.
Let's see if I can get the Go Gray for a cure here. Let's see if I can get it here. I thought I had it here somewhere. And of course, I had it. I had a little banner going there. Here it is. Dun, 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 dun. Got it. So it's right there, guys. Go Gray for cure. Wear your gray.
Gray May.
Because people, that's right. Gray May. It matters.
Yes.
The queen has spoken. All right, guys. So we want to let you guys go. We're running overtime today. We appreciate all those of you who are watching. I know Todd has said, "Preacher, wait," but we got to go, brother. We'll talk
he
this
said,
on
wait.
sidebar.
Is he about
said,
to say
wait.
something? Oh,
I don't know what happened, but he'll have to wait. We'll get it next time. All right, guys. Remember, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports to number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. I'll remind you that I do each and every week before I sign off that if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please circle to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that died for your sins and he rose from the dead. So if you repent of your sins and believe in him, 2 great things happen. Number 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number 2, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you can now go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to that wonderful place called heaven and avoid that nasty place called hell. Oh, I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, everybody, until next time we get back together again, we simply say as we do each week, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.